What's up, motivators? We have a guest on the podcast today for the first time in quite a while. And the reason that we haven't had a guest in a while is because we are changing things up. We're taking this opportunity to launch the MōTTIV Movers. Now, the MōTTIV Movers are ambassadors, is the easiest way to explain it, but they're not just ambassadors. They're very special ambassadors. They're very special people who are out there in the world doing endurance sports, and every single one of the ambassadors are out there inspiring thousands and thousands of people. And the reason for that is because they are normal people. They are just like everyone else. And there was a time several years ago that almost every single one of these movers thought to themselves, wow, I could never do endurance sports. I could never reach those goals. Now, in the case of our guest today, Jonathan Perez was almost 400 pounds, and he doubted that he would be able to do this because he told himself a lot of the things that heavy people tell themselves, that I'm too heavy to do this. I can't get the right gear. I'm never going to be able to fit into the clothing. I'm going to be the odd person out. Yet he kept doing it and realized that it was very fulfilling to have endurance sports in his life. And that's what every single one of the movers have experienced. And over the next few weeks, we're going to introduce you through the podcast to every single one of these movers. And what we're doing as a business and as a group is we want to amplify that message that no matter your race, no matter your weight, no matter your athletic ability, no matter your income, no matter your background, you can live a more fulfilling life with endurance sports, giving you the structure to have more health and more fulfillment in it. So today we're going to talk with Jonathan, who has got over his self-doubts. And hopefully if you are a bigger athlete or you're any aspiring athlete whatsoever, you get inspired by all of the stories of the movers out here. You can go follow Jonathan Perez. We'll link to where you can find him on Instagram. He's a great follow, very inspiring guy. So thanks to Jonathan for being here. He's down in Puerto Rico, and you might see him at a race down there or at a race in Mexico. And he talks about that exciting race of the life goal that he has in Mexico at the end of the podcast. So thanks, Jonathan. Thank you for watching, everyone. Before you got into endurance sports, where were you? Where were you in your life? What position were you in your life with work, with confidence, with your mindset, your emotional state? Where were you before endurance sports came around?
So I've been in and out of triathlon. So first I started when I was about 12 years old. I did my first sprint. My dad and my mom, they both were into triathlons.
Okay.
They were normal people. They didn't look fit. So it's just something that they did that they enjoyed. So I saw that and I wanted to try one, and I went straight for the sprint distance. And that moment was amazing. I know I suffered because I wasn't well trained, but I enjoyed it all the way. So I kept doing triathlons, and then I went to a specialized school. So I was staying at that school. It was like a boarding school, sort of.
Okay.
So I left triathlon because it was almost impossible to train. And life happened. And then I found myself on university. And that's when I was going through some tough things on my life. And I saw the class for triathlon training. And I thought this would be a great opportunity to start back again on triathlons and get back to that energy that you feel.
Yeah. Yeah. That excitement. Yeah.
Yes. And the first thing I did, really, that was how I found your channel. So I went to YouTube and put triathlon videos in search, and you were there. And I saw a couple of videos, and I was like, I gotta do this again. I gotta go back. And I started doing triathlons again, and I felt that energy and that feeling of, I don't know how to say it, that you feel complete, you feel that you're doing something that triathlon gave you. And that freedom of endurance sport that it's not like basketball and all those sports, which is just small court. Here you can go however you want. If you want to go open swimming and go 2,000 meters there on the ocean, you can do it and feel free. And that's why I started.
Yeah, it's super fulfilling. What I found that was very interesting about it was it wasn't like typical sports that are really organized where you know you're going to be able to play basketball or curling or baseball or whatever. Like, you know that you're going to be able to do the task. Endurance sports was coming up to a start line and wondering, can I do this? And then when you're able to accomplish it, so fulfilling. Whereas those other ones, they just didn't have that same sense of accomplishment. They were fun, but they didn't have that sense of I'm being a better version of myself because I taught myself that I could do something that was hard. Now, I've got a question. Like, the fact that you did one as a kid, why did you start following me, or why did you start searching out my channel? Because the people that come to my channel are often ones that think, oh my goodness, I'm not sure if I can do this. I'll go to YouTube and I'll start searching. So there must have been some doubts. Did you have doubts that you were able to do it even though you'd done one before as a kid?
Yes, definitely, because I was overweight. And I was overweight when I was 12, but not as much as when I started again. And it was like I needed that assurance that, like, to see how it's triathlon at that moment, like, have a view of triathlon. And that's why I searched it. And I found you and I say, okay, everything seems pretty normal. It hasn't changed much. It's still swimming, bike, run, and let's do it. I did it.
How did that first race then change you, or how did it affect you? Because you said you were going through some tough times in your life and thought triathlon will help pull me out of this. What did it change?
Okay, so at that time, my grandmother had cancer. So we have to take care of her. And it was a way to take up that tension, to just keep the mind out of cancer and everything that has is related with it and all that sadness. It was a way like to escape from that during training, feel that accomplishment. Also, every time I ended up a race, I saw her that she enjoyed it. Also, so that those little things was awesome, was great. To I had a lot of feelings at that end. When you finish the race, you feel accomplished, you feel happy during the race, you feel sometimes nervous, and that was amazing.
What did it change in you emotionally after maybe your first race or your second race or your third race? Like, compare the person that you were before to the person that you were after. What changed?
You feel a lot more secure. You start to believe in yourself, and all those doubts that you have, instead of being the can I finish it, it start being oh, can I do more? And on endurance sports, you look up and you see, okay, so I did a sprint, but there's standard distance. And then you go, there's half Ironman, and then there's Ironman, and then there's ultra Ironmans and ultra distances. So it's that feeling that you can go more. You can push yourself over your limits.
I found that it did exactly that for me. It was every limitation that I thought I had with business, with fitness, like the person that I thought I was and the limitations that I thought I had all of a sudden started going away. Because I never thought that I'd be able to run even a 5K race or a try. I didn't think I'd be able to swim 300 meters. And then all of a sudden I could. And I was like, oh, maybe I can start this business that I've dreamed of all my life. Maybe I don't have to just be upset about being in finance and that being my job. Maybe I can try other things. It gave me the confidence not just to do more things athletically, it gave me the confidence to do more things, period.
Yes, because if I can do this, what else can I do that I thought I couldn't do? And then you start seeing life like that, trying new things and having new experiences.
So let's share a little bit for people listening who aren't able to see this and see that you are a bigger athlete. Like, how much did you weigh before you got into endurance sports? And then how much did you weigh before your recent surgery? And then how much do you weigh now? So people can understand that even if they are a bigger person, they can also do this.
Okay, so like I said, I've been in and out. Now, after I went to university, I started with 376 pounds. Then I raised for 1 to 2 from like 2.5 years or 3, sort of. And I lost there about 80 pounds without surgery, just doing sports and dieting. But I got my ankle broke. So then it was really mentally tough because I was on my best moment for fitness. And so I gained weight again, then went COVID. And it felt like every time I wanted to start again, there was an obstacle in the middle of it.
Okay.
So I decided, like, no more. I won't. I tried dieting again and I didn't lose weight. I gained weight. I tried exercising, but I couldn't do it. Like, I wanted to go back to the times that I did and the distances I did before, but being without doing anything, inactive for about 1 year or 1 year and a half, I couldn't do it. So it was tough on the mind, like, why I cannot do it? And it's because I wasn't trained. And that's when I decided to get bariatric surgery.
Okay.
And I weighed 396 pounds.
You weighed 396 pounds before the surgery?
Yes, before the surgery. So I started dieting again, but this time was with a goal in mind. It was the surgery. I did it on Mexico, so they didn't have a lot of limitations like the US or Puerto Rico. So they just needed me to lose some weight. They didn't give me a number, just to do not drink alcohol and do a diet for about 2 weeks so that the liver would get to the right size. And I did that. Also, I started training again. And until the surgery date, I lost 6 pounds.
6.
And
so you went from 395 to 389?
Yes.
Okay.
So, and then I had surgery, and it was like everything has been going very fast. I still don't believe it.
And the surgery was, you told me that they removed 80% of your stomach?
Yes.
Yeah.
80%.
Yeah.
And I went that day in the hospital. They weighed me. It was 389. And after that, the surgery was the same day. And that week, in about a week and a half or something, I lost 20 pounds. And it was way too fast. I didn't notice it. It's just that I put in a jacket and that didn't close. And when it closed, it was like, I'm losing weight this fast. Wow.
So all of a sudden you've got clothes again that you couldn't fit before the surgery. You get a new wardrobe again.
So, and now it's been about almost 3 months. 2 months and a half, and I've lost 62 pounds. So
that's awesome. That is so cool. I loved when we were talking about it like 4 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, and you were talking about the mindset of what was happening before you went in for the surgery versus what happened after. And before, like, I feel similar sorts of things where it's not just as simple as eat less, because your stomach's a certain size and then your brain talks with the stomach saying, well, you need to feel full. You need to eat a lot so that you feel full, and to hijack that or change that or just eat less, it's just like, it's so hard on your brain just to eat less. And then something as theoretically, it's just simple. You make your stomach smaller and all of a sudden it changes all the wiring in your brain. Talk about that. Talk about how you look at a plate of food now versus how you looked at a plate of food 4 months ago.
So 4 months ago, I looked at a plate and it could have a lot of food. Maybe when you go to a restaurant and you see the normal plate they serve, and you're like, okay, this is a lot of food, but I'll eat it.
Yeah.
And you finish the plate like normal. But now I see it as if it were a lot more food than what the perspective I had before for a lot of food.
So you are actually looking at it almost as a different amount of food, even though it might be the same amount of food that you would load up before, but your brain will look at it and go, wow, that's a lot of food.
Yes, and it's maybe because I'm eating so little right now.
Yeah.
That I start seeing as normal the portions I'm eating. But still, it's like a normal plate. I see it as a lot of food. A lot. Like, I could eat from a normal plate 2 to 3 times.
Like what you could eat before, you could eat 2 to 3 times more?
Of what I could eat before, I ate about 1/5.
Oh, you eat about
of what I ate before.
Oh,
but as for a normal plate that you get served on a restaurant or something like that, I ate about 1/3.
Just whether people have gone through a surgery or not, or whether they are losing weight or they're gaining weight, let's just say they're a bigger athlete and they're a bigger person and they're wondering if they can actually be an athlete. What are the lies that you feel bigger people tell themselves that hold them back from being the person that they want to be?
Okay, so the first one that I have is the gear. You start thinking, like, there won't be gear for me. Or there won't be, a bike won't hold me. All those things. And then you found that, yes, it's a lot more difficult to get gear than for normal people. But if you do the research and Google, you can find a tree suit. You will be able to find, let's say, for the shoes, I started buying that have more cushion.
Yeah, like
So
big Hoka shoes or something like that?
Yes, I use Hoka, which has a lot of cushion. So, and for the tree suits, you could get them custom done, but it's a lot more expensive. I found some on Spain that they do that, and they will custom make a tree suit. Also, there's some brands that have tree suits up to 5XL.
Yeah, we talked with a brand that we're talking about working with our clothing right now, and we wanted to make sure that we could do like double extra small all the way up to, we said, like, we have a MōTTIV mover with us that I think you were 5XL, and we had to make that for you, which we did. And we said, like, we want to make sure that we are including everyone. And they said, we'll do 6XL. And they said, we've actually done that. We're like, perfect. Okay. Because we want everyone to feel like it's not awkward. And maybe they do have to special ask, but we want companies that we work with to be totally fine with that. And they don't have to be like, well, ooh, geez, I don't know if we'll be able to do that. Because that, I think, makes people feel self-conscious. But if they say, well, do you do 4XL or 5XL or 6XL? And we go, yes, of course. Hopefully it makes people feel better about themselves.
Yeah, so that was like one of the first obstacles I had because it was like if you go just online and search for a tree suit and you don't find the size, it start to get on your brain, on your mind, like I'm not built for this, that's why there's no clothes for me.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, there is, it's just a bit more difficult.
Okay.
And
did you feel that your training had to be different as a bigger person than what other people might be doing, or not really?
No, for training, not really.
No.
It's just no. And that was the thing that impressed me the most. That sometimes I would talk with other persons that were doing training, and hey, I'm doing this. What are you doing? And they are all doing the same or mostly similar stuff, or maybe training less than what I could. And that's when you get starting to believe that you can do it. That it's something normal. It's just that you're not the same size of them, but you can do the same things they do.
We need to take a quick second to thank a sponsor. Athletic Greens is a product that I use literally every single day. I like Athletic Greens as a replacement for a traditional multivitamin. Athletic Greens is made with whole foods. It contains 75 vitamins, minerals, and nutrients, and because it is made from whole foods and you can mix it up as a greens powder in a shake or whatever you want, it's much easier for your body to actually absorb. If you go to athleticgreens.com/Taren, you will get a free year's supply of vitamin D with your first purchase and 5 free travel packages. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/Taren to get yourself some Athletic Greens. Everyone that I know that's tried it has absolutely loved it, so you will too. Give it a shot. Do you think people sabotage themselves telling themselves that they can't do the same training or they can't get the same gear, and they prevent themselves from reaching their goals just by telling themselves that? But really your experience is, yes, you can do it. You just have to start. Or yes. Are there actually things that they need to be aware of that are a little bit different?
Yes. So it definitely gets to you. The idea is that you cannot do it, which is not true. You can. It's just that there will be a couple of things that will be harder. It'll be when you go to the races, you are going to see people looking at you because obviously you will be, in my case, and most of them, I was the biggest on the races. But it's that feeling that you see everyone looking at you and you're doing the same stuff they're doing and you're finishing, then you start training and you see that persons that said things to you that, oh, you cannot run that much because you have problem with your knees, or you have this problem or that other problem. And you start seeing them maybe arriving first than them on the races, going to more races. And it's like every time you hit a goal, every time, and you start knowing that those were those lies that you cannot do it because of your weight, you won't be able to find gear because of your weight, you have some limitation because of the weight. That's not true.
What are all the races that you've done? You don't have to give me every race, but what are all the race distances and types that you've done?
Okay. So I've gone 2 standard distance.
Yeah.
One, so they were about 2 years now, I think. And I also did that was my most challenging race and was the best that I have done. It's on Gasparilla Classic Distance.
A classic
it's
distance.
An ultra, yes, it's an ultra challenge.
Okay.
And the first day on Saturday, you'll run a 15K followed by 5K. And on Sunday, you'll run a half marathon followed by an 8K.
Real? How far separated are the races, the distances?
So because I'm not fast, it were like less than 20 minutes between them. So it's just the time is enough to grab a bottle of water and go back to the line and start again. So
Oh,
it was almost one after the other.
okay. Okay. What what makes you smile? Like you get up in the morning and what is making you smile as it relates to endurance sports?
Knowing that there's a challenge that I'm sure I'm gonna beat. Like since once you start doing sports, you start thinking that you'll do it. Any goal you have in mind, you're just gonna do it. So knowing that you have that challenge and that you're working for it, and every day that goes, you're closer and closer, and you keep seeing progress on training, progress on how you're feeling during the day, that makes you smile with. And it you get all sorts of feelings. It's awesome.
What do you think that people need to know about I I think I wrote this down when I told you what I wanted to ask you. The important things that people needed to know about you, but I actually want to change it and say, what do you think that the most important thing is that larger people wondering if they can do a longer distance or they can even do a distance, period? What do you think the most important thing is that they need to know that you want to tell them?
So first, you have to know what's limiting you. If it's just those lies that people tell us, if it's something personal, because endurance training takes time. And there's some things in life that you got to get in order to start training for it and see what's the root of it. What's the root of your situation, why you are not training. And as long as you haven't figured it out, just start. If you can 5 minutes, 10 minutes, anything that you could do, start and then continue building up. Then have a schedule, like, okay, so now I'm going to do it at this time. But it's just to start. Don't wait.
So, what's your next goal?
So I have a sprint triathlon which is close. It's on July, but my goal is to get back to standard distance and next year do a half Ironman,
Hmm.
which was my goal before I had my ankle broke. But now I hope that I'll be in much better shape because of the surgery. I lost a lot of weight, so now that's my challenge.
That's exciting.
It's my goal.
I like that. Um, I asked this question in a different way a lot of times, but I sort of I like what the answers come back with because it tends to be different from everyone. So let's say you are the boss of achievement in the world, that you are in charge of changing one thing that everyone has to follow that is going to make it easier for them to achieve their goals. And the goals can be losing weight or doing their first race or a longer race or having a better life, whatever it is. It's like achieving. They're going to be better at achieving something. What would you change in the world that is going to make it easier for people to achieve their goals?
Prejudices that it doesn't matter how big you are, it doesn't matter how fit you are, you can do it. Just not believe in all those prejudices people say or that has been recorded throughout history. You can do it.
I love that. That's the whole point of this. That's the whole point of talking to you and talking to all the other MōTTIV movers that are getting on board, that it's not just about wealthy people or like let's face it, the endurance sports world is filled with very financially privileged, white, thin people. That's who gets on magazines. That tends to be who gets in podcasts. That is definitely who gets on podiums. But that doesn't mean that other people can't do it. And that doesn't mean that other people aren't doing it. We just don't hear about those people very often. So people who are bigger, people who come from a different race, people who come from a wrong side of the tracks and don't have a lot of money, they all think that they can't do it because they don't see anyone else doing it. And it becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy of, all right, well, of course I can't do it because nobody else like me is doing it. But really, we just need to do a better job of showing that everyone else is doing it and that everyone else can do it. And I think everyone has a right to improve their lives and feel more confident and feel more excited, feel that fulfillment that you got in your first couple races, going like, wow, I can do this. Maybe I can do other things. I think we all have that right to feel that way.
Yes, and once you go to the first race and you see that it's not those people that you see on the magazines or on TV that are doing the races, it all like give you energy to continue in it, and you see, okay, so I'm not alone on this. It can be in a sport that it's not on team, it's not a team, but you're not alone. You have other triathletes, other runners that are the same as you.
I want to surprise you with a question that I didn't tell you I was going to do. What is a big, scary goal that you have in your life that 5 years ago you might not have thought you would ever even say that this was a goal, but now it's starting to come up in your head that you think, I wonder if I could possibly do that?
So a couple of maybe couple of months ago, a guy from Instagram wrote me. His name is Cesar Gilbert, and he told me, "Hey, I'm doing these races on Mexico. They are three. They have three races over the year, and they are like ultra Ironmans. So in a weekend, the distances I don't. It was like a 10K swimming, about 300 or 200 kilometers on bike. It was, and I don't remember how much it was running, but they are these big distances that I want to do someday. I know I have to build up my training and go over there, but that's my goal. And yeah, I know I have to make big sacrifices for that, but I, I want to do it, so I'll have to do the sacrifices too.
I'm going to look this up. I know I think you're right with the swim distance, ultra triathlon distance. Yeah, it's held over 3 days. I think what it is something like 11.4K of swimming, 540K of biking, and then 126.6 kilometers, so 3 marathons of running. I believe that's it. Oh, no, here we go. Okay. Kim has to cut all that out. An Ultraman of 3 days is day one is a 10K swim and then 140K bike. Day two is a 270K bike. And then day three is an 84-kilometer run.
Yes, that also is better.
That'd be
So
awesome.
yes, that's something that I want to do, and for it being in another place like in Mexico, it's a way to explore the city also. So that's why I want to do it.
That's fantastic. I love that. What else is something, what is like just as a final sign off, what is the most important thing that people should know about you?
About me, I'm just a normal guy. I'm just a normal person. I work and a full-time job. It's just that you have to fight with all those prejudices, all those comments, and do what you have your mind on. If you have a goal, I'll do it. If I have a goal in mind, I'll just go straight for it. if I want to finish distance, a race, I'll just go and forget about everything.
Awesome. Where should people follow you online?
On Instagram, LPR Jonathan.
Awesome. We'll link it in the show notes. People will have an easy time getting to it through all the links that we have, and we'll tag you and everything. So thanks for doing this, Jonathan. Getting to know you over the last few months has been really neat. I've followed you for a while, and we're honored that you wear our kit and are part of our group of MōTTIV movers, because I think it's really important to help amplify the message and show that there's not just one person doing things that historically others thought, hey, that's not the type of person that should be doing this. But there's dozens and hundreds of people that are doing things that they didn't think they could ever do, but they are, and they're having a great time with it. And spreading that message and what you're doing on social media is great. I think you're inspiring a lot of people.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching, Motivators. If you're looking for a training plan that incorporates these methods that is as good as a one-on-one coach but as inexpensive as doing it yourself, check out our MōTTIV training app that covers triathlons, running races, duathlons, swim runs, and cycling events. There's a link in the description below where you can check out your customized training plan for free. Also, if you rather listen to these tips, we also publish these videos in podcast format on the Taren's MōTTIV Method podcast, so you can check that out. And if you don't want to do either of those things, but you found this video helpful, hit us up with a virtual high five by smashing the like button below. Later, Motivators.